want a fur, not a secondhand coat. I want a yacht, not a cheap little boat. I tell my daddy not to be depressed. All I need for happiness is the best. I want a diamond, nothing else has appeal. And when it comes to men, you know how I feel. I want a real man. Give me a real man, you know what I mean. I want a real man. Oh, real man, you're what I need.
Balcony bathroom. Sure. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Real Men. This is the magazine show for men, about men, real men. And we're going to get down to it with our panel of all-star yackers. Let's introduce them. Kate Ashby is here today.
The bubbles work so you don't have to.
Nice, Kate, coming right in with a little slogan and something.
You.
And Chuck Byrn dropped in.
You're not going to pay a lot for that muffler.
Okay, Chucky doll. Dwayne Hill also here with us.
The bubbles work so you don't have...
Oh, curses. Tim Reichert also popped in. Nice to see you, Timmy.
Help me.
You got nothing.
Help me.
Jean Paul is with us, too. Hey, JP.
We do chicken right.
Unbelievable. Wow, they had this all figured out. And that's how we're going to get this show started, with a commentary from JP. Go ahead, man.
Do our boys shortchanged in our educational system? I don't think we're shortchanged as males. I think more so there's a hole in our pocket that no one is sewing up. Because our marketing department as males is pretty much gone to sleep. Because the slogan for us is still the same. For women, it's sugar and spice and everything nice. And for boys, it's toads and snails and puppy dog tails. As you know, society doesn't really look really well upon guys who are smart. Like, women don't mind, society doesn't mind women that are studious in society. But if Melvin knows the Pythagorean theorem and he doesn't know how to run a slant pattern, he might as well be wearing panties. So I think what we need to do is get back to showing guys it's okay to be smart, because chicks hate dumb guys.
Good job. Nice job. Jump in there, JP. Grab some cushion, man. Well, that's what we're talking about this segment, is the education system in Canada failing young boys. Let's start with Kate Ashby, the lovely and talented Kate. What do you think?
Thank you, Tim. I think that the school system does fail young boys. I think that there's... young boys have a different energy. I think it fails young girls as well. I think if you're not book smart, if you have a different sort of energy, then they don't know what to do with that a lot of the time.
How'd you make out in school, Dwayner?
Well, I thought the desks were edible. What a stupid... Nobody stopped me. I was just eating 4 or 5 desks a day and wasn't really paying attention. I have a slow metabolism. It's like a snail's, which is actually a great survival feature. You see, I know this because I'm smart. I didn't play sports. I find the educate yourself. Let's face it. I think school is basically babysitting. It's like, well, we can't guarantee your kid's not going to pick his nose and eat it, but we'll guarantee he's not going to be on the streets.
Yeah, but the thing is that
the whole...
I think I think one of the big problems is they're not failing boys. Nobody gets held back anymore. Yeah. Oh, we'll fix it later.
Actually,
we'll
fix it later. As far as I found out, because one of my friends is a teacher, he's saying you really can't fail kids anymore.
Students.
You have to ask their parents' permission. Look, your kid's stupid. Can I fail him?
No, you gotta hang on.
No.
Okay, first of all, failing somebody, sometimes people, they have a slow start in grade 1, and in grade 3 they bounce in, and you can really traumatize a kid if you fail them. So in some instances, I don't think you should fail.
No,
and let's face it.
You know what? I got held back in grade 8, and then again in grade 9. Oh, Timmy only applied himself, and it was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Oh, it was? It didn't hurt your ego or anything?
It hurt my ego, and it made me very upset for that summer. But
now he's bigger than the other kids. Exactly. Nothing like failing a bully 2 years in a row. How'd you do in school today? I made like $600. I just beat out the kid on the respirator. You know, the brainiac?
Let's get Reichert in here. What do you think, Timmy?
I think it's failing, as Kate said, boys and girls. I think it fails. It's not so much whether or not how hard you are on the students, it's what you're teaching them in the first place. And I'd like to know, because I haven't been in school for 15 years. But I think the most important thing they're not teaching kids is history, because I think history makes you care about everything else.
But it's how you teach history. Everyone had a great history teacher.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden
I think it's what's being marketed. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. You touched
I think it's what's being marketing is for guys is there's an outlet in sports and stuff like that. Whereas for women, women's sports isn't a big thing. Even if you go to university, women's football or women's basketball isn't a huge draw. Whereas for guys, it's like, hey, if I'm stupid, I can play sports.
Depends on the school you go to. When I went to 7-8, I went into a school that all of the women, everybody played the sport that was in season. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, because now I appreciate sports on a whole other level because I played them.
What season was heavy petting? The thing about school is
All summer long.
all summer long. Well, girls, it's heavy petting season again, and
Off to camp.
Help me!
I didn't bone up on my homework.
You can handle it, Kate.
Oh, yeah.
Hang in there.
You know, I mean, the whole thing about school. Like I said, like, do you find you really learned something in school?
You get what you pay
Yes,
for.
yes.
You get what you pay for, and the problem is we're not paying enough. We're paying plenty in taxes. Most of it isn't going. I went to private school. It was great. I mean, and I didn't go to. I went to university for a couple of years, but I know people with degrees that I covered more, math than they've covered, and they got an extra 4 years on.
And you know how much math applied later on in life.
Yeah,
Let's face it. And going
every
back to
time
the
you wanna
history
do
thing that
math.
Tim brought up, I went to school. I had a voracious appetite for knowledge. It was all wrong. The history was all wrong. Nothing was right. It's absolutely 100% wrong. It was revisionist history written, by the victors. In the 1950s, they wrote a history book saying, the Indians were bad people and didn't even taste good. We killed them all and ate them. It was good.
The sad thing is,
Where did you go to
JP,
school?
get in, JP.
Guys and women study differently because women or girls, when you're a little girl, you're taught order. You play house and let's play We're Married and Doctor and stuff like that. Whereas guys are like, let's
Doctor's more of a guy selling that to the girl.
Well, but nurse or some stuff like that. And the guys are like, let's go whip dirt bombs at each other and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
so when you go to
Chestnut fight.
school, there's that order of I'm gonna study and be. Whereas guys are like, ooh, I'm the class clown and this is cool.
I'm standing under the rock now. Let it go.
the sad thing that's happening right now is all the extracurricular stuff, like all the
15
drama,
seconds.
all the music, gone. And so that's what you're saying is to the people who are more inclined to go into the arts, well, we don't think that's as important, and so we've cut that. So if that's where you're headed, there's no place for you to go.
we're
Okay,
starting
we
to
got to
look
get
at
out.
school as
Good
job
job,
training.
panel. When we come back from this break, we're going to be joined by Gary Hudson, actor and kickboxing dude. We're going to talk about men in competition. And we were out in the street talking about the education system as well. Let's roll that. We'll be right back.
Top 10 things that we're trying.
Do you think young boys are getting shortchanged in our education system right now? Do you think we're teaching our boys enough?
I have two girls, 9 and 10, so it's hard for me to say. I couldn't give you an honest answer. I think the school system is, in all, not too bad in the last couple of years. It's getting better. There's still some shortfalls in it for sure.
Yeah. You like that? Little smoky coolness?
Gotta get my
Hey,
Byrn
welcome
white.
back to Real Men. We're joined this segment by Gary Hudson. Nice to see you, Gary.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to be talking about competition this segment with Gary. He's a kickboxer and an actor. And to get that started, I'm going to throw it over to Kate Ashby. Go ahead, Kate.
On your mark, get set, go. I would love to have an alarm clock that woke me up every day with that saying. On your mark, get set, go. Because I think from the beginning of the morning to the end of the night, pretty much on the highway, you're in competition. It makes it fun. It actually makes the highway fun to sort of, that car that's beside you, you're just having this little competition to get to the next turn off. At the gym, when you're on your bike beside the person on their bike, I sort of get a whole competition thing going on there. I think in the business world, it's extremely important to compete, to come up with faster cars, companies against companies, workers against workers. Good, healthy competition. Obviously, in sports, it's great. I don't really want to go see the Raptors play basketball, throwing the ball to someone else saying, you take it this time. I like the feeling of competition. I like watching it. I like having a good game of Monopoly. The only place that I feel competition becomes a problem is in a relationship. Tim, you ever had a relationship conflict competition thing?
I don't know, Kate. I was just impressed that Raptors play basketball. That was good. I'll take that. That was a good start. Welcome to Gary Hudson, joining
you.
our crazy crew today.
Good to be here. You ready? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
There you go. Thumb wrestle.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Rematch.
Victory.
Rematch.
No.
So what about it, Gary? Does competition just bleed into every walk of life?
I think so, yeah. I think from the time you get up, if you have a mate, there's competition with your wife. There's sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad.
But now talk to me about that. How do you feel competition shows up in relationships?
Oh, God, in a lot of ways.
In what ways?
From financial ways to attention with your kids,
Yes.
attention with the dog,
Yep.
to where you're going to go at night on your date, to
Yep.
what restaurants you want to
Yep.
go to.
My wife and I compete in bed.
Yeah, there you go.
How do you
I'm going to give you a better orgasm than you're going to give me. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Woohoo!
You know, I was with your wife, and she. Oh no, never mind.
Not now, Gary. Not now.
Oh, easy, baby.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah, relax, he's a kickboxer.
Tim's
He
thinking,
wants your
baby.
wife, he just gets to take her and run away.
I once went out with this guy, and
Yeah.
I was making more money than he was at the time, and I wanted to take him to this really fantastic restaurant.
I love that.
And he couldn't get into it. He couldn't handle it at all.
Would you like that,
Get
JP?
rid of
Have
him.
the ball for that.
Baby's going to
Thank you
take you to
very
the fancy restaurant. Are you going to be competitive about that?
For sure, man. I don't have a problem being anyone's bitch, man. I do not have a problem.
No.
If my woman make more money, except yours. I mean,
Anyone, JP?
anyone. But I think competition is more male-oriented. I mean, I'm sure women compete, but I think more male.
Oh, man.
women are
Don't you
crazy.
Wait, don't you love this when you go to dinner? She goes, "Oh, I don't know, honey. You can take me anywhere. I'm easy. Okay, why don't we go to this Italian? Nah, I don't really want to Italian. Well, there's this China. Nah, I don't really want to. Well, honey, where do you want to go? Seafood. Well, I thought you want to go anywhere. I want to go here.
Talk to the camera, Gary, because I think you're talking to
Is
someone
that really
specific.
competing?
I am not.
Is that really competing or just trying
I
to
think,
assert
you know,
something?
but to say women don't compete in the ways men do. Men are open about their competition. I'm going to beat that guy. Women are like, you know, I'm going to drive that bitch into the ground.
I'm going to make her think
little
she's fat until she kills herself.
It's true. It's true. I think competition between women is way more deadly than it is
Oh,
between
women.
men.
Oh, but I
Women
didn't say
plotting
women don't
Absolutely.
compete. I'm just saying I think
Why-
men
why
compete
is
One
more.
at a time.
I think because men grow up in a more, and I think it's changing, but men grow up in a more athletic environment,
Yeah.
which creates
Yeah.
positive competition where
Yeah.
women are like, oh, that looks really nice.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah, I
walks
think
out, "Ooh,
Chuck's right when he says that guys are just more
You know.
right up front with it. You know?
I think women
I don't like
compete-
that, dude.
Well, I think
gotta-
organized sports creates a more healthy competitive
I don't think we're as,
Learn how
I
to-
don't think we're as cold
Yeah.
and calculating as women as far as competition, but I think on more levels we compete way more than women do.
Well, we compete with,
yeah.
with more. Everything's kind of a
Conspicuous
competition
in
with
his
guys.
absence with Dwayne
But it's
Hill over
it's.
there.
I think the biggest competition that I usually deal with is with myself.
Yes.
That's usually what I'm doing is just trying to
Yes.
better myself. I don't
reading-
worry
I was
about the
reading
other
Chuck's
guys.
diary.
That's a
That's
great
beautiful, isn't it?
point.
Get in here, Dwayne.
I love that. It's
Yeah,
good, though.
Chuck's biggest competition is with himself. His journal is filled with lots of I hate myself, I don't feel pretty today, should I wear the blue shirt?
You promised you wouldn't tell.
Hold on, before we
No,
run
I
out of
inferred
time
it.
in this segment,
Yeah.
let's roll that clip of you getting your ass kicked by Chuck
Oh,
Norris.
yeah. Now, let me set this up
Really
because it's
cool.
Chuck's show, so Chuck has to kick the bad guy's ass, and I'm the bad guy, so I get my ass kicked. Otherwise, he'd be.
Let's roll that,
Putty in
Steve.
my
Let's
hand.
Chuck's
see
foot
that.
competing with your face.
I think it's the name Chuck that you can't.
Frank. I wish you luck, Walker.
Man, Gary, what was this little bit of business? That's really playing it up.
It's
eh?
just me really playing it up.
Yeah.
He
See,
kicked
that's-
me so hard in the back that my
And
hand
Chuck really
shook.
hit you?
Oh, he hit me hard. Yeah.
I'm not
hit me hard
scared
about
of you
5
anymore.
times
My
in a row.
policy is one kick to the head, stay down.
Yeah, that's
Just stay
you're right. You're right.
That's my
How long does
policy.
that take to
competitive, Chuck.
choreograph, Gary?
It's not competitive.
Yeah, we
but
worked on that we choreographed it about an hour and a half.
Right?
And then Chuck and I think Chuck came in and we did it about 6 times. We did
Cool.
that
We're going to
scene.
take a quick break. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
After
pleasure.
this, we're going to get you to show us a few things. You know, some
I'll
skills and
demonstrate
get the
some
boys
things
up to
with the
speed.
boys.
Should I jump off?
We're going to come back
know
with
how to
more with
kill
Gary
someone with
Hudson.
my
Kicking ass on Real Men. Gary, don't you find most guys that like to fight aren't any good at it, though? Hey, welcome back to Real Men. And we're talking about skills that impress women, and chiefly amongst them, the ability to kick some ass. Don't you think, Gary?
Oh, yeah, that's just, definitely want to be with the
impressive?
girl who likes to be with the guy who likes to go out and just kick some ass.
During the break, Gary told an awesome true story about kicking some guys in the head down in Virginia, man. That
Yeah.
sounds so cool to guys
Yeah.
like me who can't do that. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I wish I didn't have to do it, but
Right,
you
it's
know,
not something you'd want to do.
It
Use
was
your
Christmas,
stuff at a...
Santa Claus, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like to be in jump
What a
coming out of a bar.
humanitarian he is.
That's right.
He's
It's
You
Christmas.
tied ass kicking.
It's Christmas. Don't make me
Please,
bust your ass.
Don't dump me.
Why don't you demonstrate a little self-defense stuff for us, Gary? Can you do
Okay,
that?
okay, sure.
Get Reichert up here. He's a big puss.
Yeah, man.
The size of this guy,
I
Gary.
saw what Chuck Norris
That's right,
did.
I
Yeah, I'm
am
not
a
scared.
puss.
I'm
know.
tall and
Okay.
gangly, but I'm weak.
So say you're walking along.
I'm deceptively
and,
weak.
You know, you're minding your own business, and some jerk wants to, or you're in a bar, say, because a lot of times it happens in a bar, and it's in a closed-in area, so you don't have a lot of room to move. And say some guy just grabs you right here by the shirt and wants to mess with you.
It's easy to kick a guy's ass when you tell him where to grab you. So grab me here. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know.
So a lot of guys will grab somebody like that. So go ahead. So he grabs me like that. Okay, the first thing I would do was I'd go right to his throat.
Ouch.
Okay, right here. Boom. He wouldn't be expecting. You don't talk to him. He grabs you. You go right to his throat like that, which will choke him. Take his hand like that, and you take him right down to the ground. You go right down to the ground.
Blondie's eating some
And when
floor.
he's here, you can break his elbow. You know, you can stomp here with
Call
your
him a
foot.
bitch. Call him a bitch.
You better not. You can ride him like a horse. No, you better not let me up. You better not let me up. So get up.
Okay, easy.
So I'm done. I'm free.
So what would happen while you're over him? Get back down. Get back down. I had your back. I had your back.
Yeah.
Get back on the ground. So you're horse doing them.
Yeah,
and
I
I
kick you
come.
right there in the knee. Just.
So what if I stretch like
And then
this?
I would try to grab that thing and go, oh, golf, yes, okay, my 7-iron.
Okay, jump back in your seat,
Okay.
Tim. Jump back in there. Now, okay, Gary,
You're a
a
wonderful
little later in the
victim, though.
evening, couple more drinks. Here comes Big Man now.
The big guy. Okay,
Big guy wants a piece of you.
He's gonna
hurt my friend.
grab me from behind. For hurting his wrist.
you've had enough.
So he's gonna do that. And as soon as he does that, he turns me and I'm gonna throw my head right back into his head.
oh,
I'm
a
gonna
little
headbutt him.
headbutt.
And I'm gonna go into a horse stance. And when you go into a horse stance, it automatically spreads you out and it balances you. So it'll automatically break his fall. Now from there, I'd go into his nuts.
Right in the pills.
Okay, I'd take his hand like this, and again I would take him right down.
Big
to the
guy number
ground.
2.
So what
Because he's
happened?
weak.
Market said,
Okay. So then I could take my help. I could do like an axe kick on his head, knock him out. I could come on the side of his head like that. So as many.
It's over for
and
Big
then I
Fella.
run in slow motion in my car.
Then I'd rub him down. I'd rub him down. I'd say,
Magical hands.
big
That's
guy,
cool.
sailor.
What about for Kate? Is there something that you can teach Kate? Practical?
Now women get attacked probably
More
in
often.
a way that's nasty.
Right.
More so than men do. So it depends. For a woman,
Never been a chubby guy in
the
prison,
best thing
have
is
you?
to run. But say if a guy grabs you, he grabs you. If he's got you so hard, because men are strong, I suggest the woman first just go numb. Just play like she's relaxed, like the guy's got her. And that'll make him loosen his grip. Because he feels like she's going to be submissive.
Right.
Okay, and as soon as he does that, the first thing you want to do is you want to either bring your knee up into his groin. You want to hit the areas that he's most vulnerable, which is the throat, the groin, and the eyes. And when you take somebody, take your thumbs, always take your thumbs, and go right for his eye. Right there.
Bang.
Boom. And it'll blind him so quickly. Or a better thing, before you hit the eyes, is to take your palm of your hand. As soon as he thinks you're relaxed, just go boom. And hit him right there under his nose, and it'll drive his nose right up into his brain. And if it doesn't kill him or knock him out quickly, he'll be so. And then you go for the eyes, you go for the groin,
And then
you
get out.
run like hell. And you
Don't
run like
stay to
hell.
finish him, Kate.
But you want to hit those areas.
like me.
You want to hit those areas that are most vulnerable, which is the nose, the eyes, and the groin area. Okay.
That's great.
And when a woman don't use just your hands. The reason a monkey is so strong is because they use their entire body, their hips. So when you hit somebody, you want to boom through here. You want to use your hip into here. Okay. You want to gouge him with your eyes. With your thumbs.
So relax.
And then get the hell out of there.
So relax
Well,
and
relax.
go hard.
Relax. If he would grab you like that
like a
again,
monkey.
if he would like just grab you and he's grabbing you, first thing you want to do is just go into his throat, okay? Or turn and go right into his groin. Something's going to hurt him quickly.
Right.
Gary,
That's
when
gonna
you go
hurt
to
him.
the throat like that, it just seems like that's going to work, eh? Like
Oh, yeah,
just
that's gonna hurt
Fingers
bad.
straight to the.
And so
That's gonna hurt
it's like
bad.
karate chop to the throat, or
Well,
straight
from here, you want to go straight in. If he's grabbing you like this, it's hard to get around here. So you want to go between. See,
And
if
you go right up
that's
into
natural.
there.
Like a grab, you go
So
right
you
up
go
into
right up
there.
into there.
Yeah, or see, now look, if you went right into my nuts like that.
Right.
If I've got you like that.
Right.
And you want to drop down into a hip, see, like
Whoa, that's,
push me here, push me. Just give me a good push. Now, see, I can go over. Now push me.
no, you can't go.
Push him. And then I bring the golf club out.
Maybe
Settle
we
down.
better leave.
Everybody jump into a chair. We got a minute left.
So it's all balance. It's all balance.
Is there
And
any
wanna
way
hit
you
those
could teach me
vulnerable
to
areas.
drive my face
know?
into someone's fist real hard?
Like if I would first make out with me, and then
Right.
Okay, wait, no,
That's what you want to do. Hey, I want to thanks a lot, Gary Hudson.
pleasure.
That's awesome, man.
Pleasure.
A lot of good practical
Yeah.
information there.
Woo.
Thanks for coming in.
It was my pleasure. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You were great. You guys. You
Flick
guys
people
were
with a finger. That was
Friggin' comedians. Unbelievable. Okay, settle down, class. Gary, can you hang around for one more segment? Couple more minutes. That's awesome stuff. Gary Hudson's joining us on Real Men. We'll be right back. Kicking some ass on Real Men today. We're talking self-defense and skills that impress women today on Real Men. We're joined by Gary Hudson, kickboxer, actor dude. And that didn't look like acting that last segment. Dwayne, have you ever, what do you go, Dwayne, about 300, 6'5"?
Well, I'm about 290. What I do is, see, the key is the center of balance. See, on a hip right here, and people don't realize the hip is an excellent place to keep a gun. So then I shoot him in the head, and I make an example. I say, no, watch, bang! I got 9 more just like it. Yeah, but bang! Next, you, bring it on.
Hey, I'm settled down.
Hey, don't you realize that that's just a reflection of your childhood, and don't you need to breathe and maybe you just need some
Somebody's
loving.
turned on by my skills.
Don't you need some loving?
Hey, what about me?
And you too, don't
I
you
thought I
need
shot
some
you.
loving all around for everyone?
Hit me in the throat.
Gary, are women pretty impressed with that kind of stuff, man? Do they dig that?
Well, you know, if I go home and I take my dates and we work on things, and they like it.
Oh, a
It's
little
pretty much
self-defense.
sex
Sure,
5
a little
minutes
demo,
later. Pretty
on
much,
a first date demo icebreaker would work.
I put on the guns, we quick draw, and then it's into the bedroom. Pretty much, it works every time.
And then you don't want to be a quick draw anymore.
No.
See, every time I've told a date to grab me here, she always takes it the wrong way. and-
I don't understand. It must be your delivery.
presentation.
Yeah, it's all
Your
the
voice
style.
always cracks.
Your style must be.
JP, have you ever had to kick some ass? Have you ever been cornered enough to throw the hands?
Yeah, man. I mean, I went to a pretty rough school, and you know, I got a lot of trash talking and stuff like that. And I had my fists up, and I was like, "Look, girl, if you don't want me to hit you again, give me back my lunch and juice box."
Oh, do the classic.
Yeah, well then get out of the wheelchair.
I unhooked the battery in your wheelchair. I can do worse.
Oh man, they're all running to the same
Everybody's
tire
just
joke.
making fun of the whole self-defense thing, and I'm a little hurt by it.
Do you know what? I
I'll
was
get
getting
over
off
it.
a subway once, and a guy made a sound at me, and the man that I was with, we were going out the doors, and the man I was with turned back into the subway and just went at him, and it was awful. It was so stupid. It was one of those times when sometimes you just gotta let something like that
Well,
go.
Gary, yeah, there's
was
an
weird.
excuse to go, and that isn't it, is it? Like a slight insult,
No.
you walk away.
No, you
I'm trying
walk
to figure
away.
out-
If it's not
Women are
sexy.
more
Away.
impressed with the
not- no.
ability to go to violence more than they're impressed with the actual going to.
Women
it.
aren't
Yes.
impressed.
I'm not
by that.
impressed with either.
Women-
I want to know what
Yes.
this sound is.
Women
He could have been leaking.
He made that sound.
did.
Maybe
Women
he was
are
repairing a
impressed.
balloon.
You're
Going down.
The women do.
That's all the time we've got. Thanks to Gary Hudson for coming in and showing us that. That was cool.
It's all beat his
And if
ass.
you can walk
all
away,
beat his ass.
the final word, Gary, if you can walk away, walk away.
Walk
right?
away.
Definitely. Thanks for tuning into Real Men.
Paul, do you want to impress your date? You kill me, I'll hug you on the grave.